Everybody, Invisiblekatana here with a 420 review of The Transformers, the movie. So, this is the very first Transformers film. Here we have the 30th anniversary Blu-ray set, and then the same day, because I just saw the movie in theaters for the first time, the same day I picked this up. It technically got delivered the day before, but I wasn't here. So, the same day I got the new 35th anniversary edition, which is the official 4K Blu-ray, even though this says 4K, first time on Blu-ray from a new 4K transfer. So, 5 years ago, just now. So, looking forward to seeing that, the ultra 4K high definition, yada, the numbers and stuff. As you can see, we have Optimus and Megatron here. These are from the Siege, what am I thinking? War for Cybertron. I don't know why I was about to say something about life. But the War for Cybertron Siege trilogy on Netflix, which I thought was fantastic. These are the figures from 3-0 the company. If you can look them up online, just look up 3-0 Optimus, 3-0 Megatron. You also find different versions of them both, I believe. But I love these things. Sorry for the meh pose on Megatron. I haven't posed him up yet. Then this is just like a starter pose, but it's what he's been in forever because I haven't had time to do anything. But I, had to have my very expensive figures up here. Love these things. Full metal too. Very heavy. Like, you'll hurt yourself if that hits your foot. If Optimus, power bombs your foot, you will not be happy. They are heavy, but I love them. They are absolutely amazing. So to celebrate one of my favorite things coming out, went to the movies, saw the film. It was fantastic. Figured I would finally do a review of it because it's the 35th anniversary. I may have also done a review, but I don't think I did one for the 30th, so I'm pretty sure this is the first time I'm actually doing a video for the movie. Or I'm high and I forgot. I would have forgot anyway. It's not like I've been high for 5 years, so I just don't remember. I don't think I did, though. But I love the movie. It is fantastic. It was still great seeing it in theaters. It wasn't as epic as I thought because I was, in my head, I was, movie. So I'm like, yeah, movie is gonna, it was still just normal. It wasn't like crazy widescreen. Like it seemed like there was extra space based off of what I knew, especially from like the Blu-ray and stuff. I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of extra. I know theaters are, I'm sure the screens are bigger now, but I'm just like, feels like this is oddly square. It just felt, I don't know. It was just me. I was like, I feel like this isn't like the best version it could look. So, I still enjoyed it, but that was definitely something I noticed. But I also never saw it in theaters, so it was kind of hard to tell. But I still loved it. Still fantastic. Love the music. The intro is definitely one of my favorites. Got that on my phone. Just going through, there's not much to really say. The movie's fantastic. I love the Transformers, so of course I was super excited to see the movie. They also did some cool shorts beforehand, one of which was really, really good. They also had John Machida in them, so I thought that was pretty sweet. And I was kind of late, so I missed hopefully just like the first half of the first one. That's what I'm gonna hope. But the one I saw, they talked about the transformation. So for anyone who doesn't know, this full spoilers, by the way. At this point, you should see the movie. That's my spoiler-free review. It is amazing. It is Transformers. It's animated, so it's super cool. So you should obviously see the movie. It's Transformers. You should have seen it anyway. Granted, I wouldn't say that about all the live-action movies. So I guess that's fair to not assume that, especially if you haven't seen this one. That's actually kind of fair. It's better. So there you go. So, full spoilers. The little shorts that they had, their stop motion, so they had figures, but they talked about when Galvatron and the Decepticons, and everybody, I was trying to think, Thundercracker and Skywarp, there it is. So, them all getting sent back, the Insecticons and stuff, and they're like, in the animation, they make 2 Scourges, so they're like, well, what happened to Skywarp then? I don't think they used Skywarp. It may have been Thundercracker. I feel like it was one of them, and then they referenced someone else as well. One of the Insecticons, actually. But they're like, well, where's he at then? If there's like 4 of us, it was like, well, like, no, we were here, and then there's 2 Scourges and stuff. So they were like making references to like animation errors and stuff, which there are definitely some animation errors in this movie. There's scenes where I didn't think that, I remember when I watched it, the first time I should say I saw it after being a little kid, I remember thinking like, I was hoping that the error, because the reason I actually got to see all of G1 was actually because of one of my dad's friends. He had the whole series on DVD. So there were a lot of animation errors and stuff. And I remember watching the movie after knowing like all of G1. And I was like, wow, those animation errors just carried right over to the movie. Like there's just spots where I'm like, well, that's supposed to be Rumble, but neither of them are. And then someone jumps out of somebody, but the last frame is still there. And it's like, this is like colors just switching back and forth because they're switching back to the main keys of animation, like swapping the same page back. So it's like, well, that's the wrong color. Oh, that's the right color. And then he goes back to the wrong color. And it's like, that's really interesting. That's interesting. So that I always found very fascinating. I was like, even in the movie, the animation area just zoomed right through. And I'm just like, That's great. It's so funny to think of that. Like, they had Transformers, which I recently watched a thing because it was obviously celebrating the 35th, where they talked about like these people didn't know. Like, they killed Optimus, and they're like, we thought we were just like killing off some toys, and we didn't effing know. And it was traumatizing. Like, when I was a kid, I had the trauma. Decades later, as a little kid, I think I was probably like 11 or 12 by the time I actually got to see like the whole series and then see the movie again. And I was like, I understand now. Like, this is depressing. Like, they killed everybody. It was like the movie kicks off. Ironhide's dead. Prowl is dead. It's like, you killed Ironhide? Ironhide is gone. First, I remember when I first saw it. After I knew all the characters, I could separate Prowl and Jazz because all I could think of was the movie, and I was like, I think that was Jazz. Does Jazz die? And then it was like, oh no, the wingtips. It's everything's fine. Sorry, Prowl, but it's Jazz. So I remember thinking that and being like, whew, still sad, but Prowl is not Jazz. Sorry to compare, but it is what it is sometimes. So I was just like, whew, but still Ironhide, and more characters along the way. Some characters are just dead on the ground, which either I blinked and I missed because it is a fast scene, or they cut it out when I was watching in the theater. But when RC looks down and she sees them, I feel like that scene was missing when I saw them in theaters. I was like, huh. Like, because I definitely didn't see the scene when I was there. And I'm like, I don't think I wasn't on my phone at all. So I'm like, did I just look away for a split second, or I just wasn't thinking? Because I know it's so fast, but I was like, I feel like I'm paying enough attention to not just randomly daze off on Transformers. So I was like, I feel like they cut that scene when she looks down and she sees their bodies there. But I remember that scene, and it got me. As a kid, once I knew, I was like, this is a tragedy. This whole movie is just depressing. It's like, who are these? Like, I understand. Like, I've had experiences like that when you get like just. It's like the anime time skip of Transformers done horribly wrong. It's just like, hey, let's time skip. It's in the future. Somehow the Decepticons beat the Autobots, which is a very interesting story to tell. Like, they took over Cybertron, all this stuff. It's 2005. There's a whole in between that's like, all of that sounds amazing. Where is that at? And then it's just poof, new characters and everything, and everyone you love is dying. Like, they just die. So it's a really crazy, sad movie. They just be killing everybody, except for Ultra Magnus, because he was new. But Ultra Magnus is not only one of the sweetest names I've ever heard, but he also has a great design. Like, he's the dude who's the truck, but he was not good enough to be the big truck. It is what it is. Some people are just cool number twos. And that's Ultra Magnus. He's just cool like that. He doesn't have to be like the main character. He's the cool side character. And that's what he is. From name alone, is Ultra Magnus. But he doesn't die, which was great. You could say they go to Weird Al's Wild Planet. But it's like, sure, slather some oil on him, I guess. But I'm like, I feel like he died more explicitly than anybody else that's been killed off in this movie so far, except for Starscream, of course. But other than that, he like blew up. He got shot up. It was like, and then he blew up after. And so I was like, he's gone. And then it was like, no, he's not. He's cool. Like, we just put a spit shine and he's back to life. And I'm like, dude, Optimus was like kind of shanked and got shot on a clip. Like, ooh. And it was just weird. Like, the way other characters died, except for Starscream, like I said, was so like pale in comparison to Ultra Magnus. But they're like, we got him. I was just like, that's weird. That was a weird one. But he got to stick around, so at least he was cool. Obviously, the movie goes crazy. Everybody goes crazy. And then they fight inside of Unicron, who transforms, has some of the most amazing, like, villain music. No one talks about, Unicron. Like, that, the boom, like, that is a really great song. That is an amazing villain theme, where it's just this looming planet, and it's, like, the hum of space. It's that old 80s, like, Aliens hum. And I'm like, this is an amazing villain theme song. It's really, really good. So it's been a minute since I listened outside of the intro, and This Generation. I don't think that's the actual title, but This Generation. Those are my two favorites. But I was like, wow, just the actual theme is fairly amazing, and it really is. Like, a lot of the background music I noticed while watching it this time. I was like, you remember like the main songs, and some of the ones that obviously you really enjoy. Obviously, you have to touch, which you think I'd have, but I'm like, I kind of like the portion in the movie more than like the whole song. But I can't listen to the whole song. It's not like I haven't done it. Anyway, I like what we got, as far as the characters going forward and things like that. Crazy, tragic, time skip aside. Everything was pretty sweet. I like the characters. I like the designs for the new characters. I do think Hot Rod looks sweet. I like RC. Blur is just a cool character. Blur is cool. Aside from the actual effect, John Machida. that's just cool. That's just really cool. So I'm like, it's him. Blur is always cool. Grimlock, obviously. Grimlock's one of my favorites. Soundwave, that's actually, I should have moved my head, but that's Soundwave right there. Hard to make out from like that distance, but that's what Soundwave. Soundwave, number one. Right under that, you have Grimlock. But if I have to specifically go favorite Autobot, I go Grimlock. Optimus is fantastic, but Grimlock's just fun. Me Grimlock fun. Me Grimlock King. It's just nice. It's just fun. So, enjoyed the film. Obviously, there's not much to talk about. I enjoyed the film. It's just more to discuss, like, that was a weird time. And like, I feel like I kind of got to experience that, like everyone who grew up with Transformers, because the G1 wasn't as popular when I was growing up because it moved to Beast Wars and stuff. So I got to kind of go back and have that same experience, even though I did technically see the movie when I was really, really young. But I was like, I know I saw it, but I don't really remember anything of it. So it was kind of cool. This was more to just celebrate one. It's one of my top five. You got Turtles, Transformers, Resident Evil, Back to the Future, Star Wars. I was totally drawing a blank. I am currently high, so you have to forgive me. But Transformers is in the top five. You can't beat Beast Wars. It's so good. I mean, there's something that you could argue. Man, I miss Prime. I wish Prime got like an official conclusion because they did some cliffhanger stuff. But we did also get the sequel series. But yeah, I've always loved Transformers. So this is just to celebrate the 35th anniversary. Obviously, would love to know what you guys thought about the film. Are you old enough to have seen it in theaters? Did you get the chance like me to finally see it in theaters? I'm also very excited to watch like the 4K version, like also in my house and be much closer to like the very center of the screen. So that'll be super cool to do at some point. That's probably like a winter. My family might be learning about the Transformers this Christmas. What a Christmas miracle we're gonna have. That might be the plan. I hope she doesn't watch this, so that way she can't say no. But we'll figure it out. Family stuff later. Would love to know what you guys thought about this movie. So definitely put your comments down in the comment section below. Have you been forgetting what these are? These are the 3 zero figures for Transformers. They also did a line for Bumblebee, so there's a different Optimus. There's Bumblebee, of course. And I think 2 other people, Starscream and somebody else. I think the dude from the beginning of Bumblebee, whose name I can't remember who it was, but it's the not Starscream dude, because everybody was like, he looks just like Starscream. Which, I'm okay with that considering what happens to him in that movie. Not that they're about to do a full CG Transformers, but, that was an amazing... I love Bumblebee. That opening... Bumblebee is good in general, but that opening of Bumblebee is really good. I did a review on that as well. Sorry to go into that, but I was just like, man, Bumblebee gave me hope. I was like, wow, this is really good. But I do hope we get something. I know they're doing the reboot, but we'll see what that is. Like I said, for the millionth time, we'd love to know what you guys thought about The Transformers, the movie. If you have not seen it and you listen to this, obviously I basically didn't talk anything about the movie except for saying I like it and it was tragic because so many people died, but you probably won't have that attachment. So just watch the movie and it's really amazing. And you'll see some stuff that was brought over into some of the live action stuff. There's like a couple things in here for sure where you're like, oh, the things are connecting over there. Those nice little references, if anything, you got to hold on to something. Otherwise, you're left with Devastator's balls. So, things happen as they happen. Thanks for checking this out. Go watch some Transformers or something.